Hey guys, welcome back to Andy's Dinosaur Reviews, and today we are back with another brand new Marco Makes Rubbersaurs release, and this is such an exciting moment because we've got ourselves a new Tyrannosaurus from Marco. This is the infant Tyrannosaurus, so the Lost World Jurassic Park younger T-Rex that you see in that film is basically what we've gone ahead and recreated here with this Rubbersaurs Series 2 release. You can see the packaging is pretty much like the standard that we've had for the last few releases as far as the Microceratus and Compsognathus, and now we have the infant Tyrannosaurus as well as the accessory pack that they had out. But you can see the image here. It looks really nice. Again, we've got some gorgeous art here of the adult kind of leaning down here toward the baby, and I still so badly want that adult T-Rex. I can't begin to express how much I want that T-Rex, but you can see again down here, designed by Marco Makes, printed, assembled, and painted by Nate Bradshaw, who is the newest member of the Rubbersaurs team. You can also see again that the photography here was done by A Scene Is Born, who I have many times on this channel complimented because he is an amazing, amazing artist when it comes to his photography. Nothing else really going on, it seems, with the box, so let's go ahead, pop the box open, and check it out. So inside we've got ourselves a card, and look at how beautiful this card is. It's not an actual image of the figure itself. This is obviously an illustration created by Kevin Zanetti, who I have actually reviewed models of here in the past, and we've seen quite a bit of his artwork in previous reviews as well, but you can see he has gone ahead and created the artwork here for this release, kind of similar to what we had seen on the front of the packaging, and then here on the back you can see Art Card Collection as well. Just a gorgeous, gorgeous card. And then we've got ourselves the baby Tyrannosaurus Rex, and look at how beautiful that is. That is absolutely awesome. The sculpt is, of course, considering it's a Marco Makes sculpt, it is so spot on to the way it looks in the film, and the paintwork again that was done by Nate is super nicely done. On top of that, we also have some accessories. As you can see, we've got the splint for the leg. There we go, we're now focusing on it. The splint for the leg, and you can also see we have the muzzle for the T-Rex. So, of course, replicating the scene in the Lost World Jurassic Park where the Tyrannosaurus is taken into the RV and they try to, of course, help the baby Rex. So you have the accessory pack, and again, the absolutely awesome T-Rex. So, as always, let's go ahead and jump straight to a closer look, and we'll check it out from there. So starting up here at the head sculpt of our baby Rex, you can see it looks really nice. We've got some gorgeous scale detail. It's really popping on the lower jaw specifically because we have that lighter tone that shows that detail off really nicely. But even up in the greens of the face, you can see the skin texture looks really nice. We have a little bit of like a larger amount of scales there. As you lead closer to the jawline, you can see the nostrils up here on the tip of the snout. Obviously, we've got ourselves an articulated jaw. It looks really nice with the jaw closed. And you can actually get it open really wide if you want to, but I think that's a fairly nice, natural-looking position for the mouth to be opened. On the inside of the mouth, you can see the tongue sculpted out in there very nicely, painted really nicely with a pinkish tone. Same deal, I think, for the inside. Oh, yeah, definitely for the inside of the mouth and the upper side. You can see how nice the detailing as well as the paintwork and everything looks up there as well. It's such a small mouth, so it's a little hard to get in there, but it kind of looks like we can see the throat back there as well. And it does feature a nice gloss coat, which is a plus. I can definitely see that shining right there. You can see the teeth are all sculpted really nicely. They seem to be sculpted for the most part individually. You can see on the upper side there. Same deal for the lower jaw. Trying to get it to focus a little better, and you can see those teeth are super, super tiny. So for the paintwork to look as good as it does, says a lot, I think, about how good Nate is when it comes to painting his figures, because those teeth are painted really beautifully, considering how incredibly tiny they are. You can see, there's my fingertip, and if we go with the pointer finger, there's my pointer fingertip right there. Look at how tiny those teeth are and how nicely they are painted. That is absolutely awesome. As we lead up, you can see we've got a darker variation of a green over the tip of the snout, lighter green as we move back through the palate and the face. There's also a little bit of a variation of color there with a different shade of color around the eye, and you also have a yellow eye with a black pupil. The eye as well sports a nice gloss coat. shining there, giving it a very realistic look. You can see we also have the stripes as they lead down from the snout from up here on the top of the head. You can also see a little bit of a darker shade moving over the top of the head of the Rex as well. And then as you move down into the neck, you start to see the striping pick up. Again, very much so reminiscent to the way it looks in the film. You can also see some nice creasing in the neck as you move down. A little bit of saggy skin here in the throat of our T-Rex. We obviously have the lighter tone following along the underside, the greenish tones following along the upper side, and you can also see some like pinkish or purplish tones picking up here and there that kind of follows along in transitions between the green to the lighter tone there of the underside. You can see the detailing looks really nice moving down the throat, down into the chest. And we also have those classic Jurassic Park T-Rex larger scales there in the lower part of the chest moving into the stomach, as well as the Rubbersaurs logo moving down. And then if you look up here, leading down, you can see the arm looks really nice. We've got the muscle definition sculpted out there, and you lead down into the hands. We transition to a darker tone. The nails have a very nice, genuine, sharp look to them as well. You can see the scoots moving down through the fingers. And of course, this is a Rubbersaurs release, so the figure as a whole is very flexible. You can see that up here in the head and neck area as well. For the T-Rex, you can see the stripes begin to pick up and increase in size. Definitely a good bit larger as we move down here into the body. The spinal column there kind of following along the back of the Rex, as well as the very nice looking skin texture down here in the side of the stomach. And then as we continue to move down, you've got the hip bone there. You can kind of see like that row of scoots moving over the top of the hip bone, something you do often see on Jurassic Park style Tyrannosaurs. And then as you lead down, we have more of that striping effect leading down through the course of the thigh, as well as the muscle definition highlighted very nicely in the sculpt, the skin texture as well. You do also have articulation in the hip region, again, forward and back, pretty much what you would expect, that very nice standard articulation for a Rubbersaurs release. It also works quite smoothly. And again, as we move down, we've got the knee right there, the calf muscle here in the back of the leg. And it definitely looks like I could see a little variation to the greens, maybe like some slightly darker shades and lighter shades kind of blending and mixing together quite nicely. But as you move down into the foot sculpt, you can see that we do transition again to a darker tone, definitely a much darker tone. And you can see the scoots moving down through the course of the foot down into the toes. We again have the nails sculpted very nicely, all having a perfectly genuine sharp look to them, as well as a very nice glossy black added to the nails, making them shine quite nicely. We also do have the dew claws, which you can see right there. Really quite like the paintwork actually here for the feet. It looks really nice. But as we lead up, you can see a few wrinkles again back here behind the thigh. As you lead out, you can see the striping effect continues as we move out through the length of the tail. You have some really nice curvatures to the tail as you lead out. You again have more of that pinkish tone, and again the lighter tone of the underside. Even like slight hints of a light green moving along the underside of those lighter tones. And then you also have the ability to flex and move the tail again, considering it is a Rubbersaurs release. It's very, very rubbery, very flexible. The only area that's not would be the legs, which is a much more solid material, and for obvious reasons you want your figure to stand, so the legs would definitely have to be a bit of a harder material. And you can see when you look over here at the opposing side, it is absolutely awesome. Definitely one of the single best, not only Rubbersaurs releases, but obviously one of the best when it comes to the young Rex that I've seen in any form. It's definitely one of the absolute most perfect renditions that I've seen of it so far. And obviously it's going to look pretty much the same on this side as it is in pretty much a neutral position, and it would be up to you to sort of articulate it and display it, but it is definitely an incredibly beautiful T-Rex. And then as we move down here into the leg, it's a little hard to see because it's such a bright material. You can see the wrapping that we have for the leg looks really nice. It's definitely got some nice detail, but it's just so bright it's a little hard to pick up on. And then we of course have the muzzle, which is technically just a belt because they took the belt off and applied it to the face and the snout of the T-Rex to keep it sort of contained and not yelling or snapping at anybody. But you can see that as well is really nicely sculpted, and even the area where it buckles is nicely painted. As per usual, it's another absolutely awesome addition to this amazing release. I must say it's really nice how easy it is to apply the extras to the figure as well. Like sometimes you'll have a little bit of a difficult time, like for instance my Hammond collection Young Rex doesn't really like to keep the leg splint on, or I mean like that wrapping on the leg, it really doesn't like to stay on. So it's really nice to see how easy this goes on and how nicely it does stay on the figure. As far as a size goes, you can also see the balance is really nice for the figure, but as far as a size, you are looking at about 6¼ inches or around 16 centimeters, and then for a height in the position it's currently in, which you could alter, just a little under 2¾ inches or just shy of 7 centimeters for a size comparison. There is Mr. Papo T-Rex, the Attack Pack Colovosaurus Robert Muldoon, and the Collect Day human being next to our Young Rex from Marco Makes in the Rubbersaurs line. And you can see it's definitely the size you would expect it to be. When it comes to like meshing with the Mattel line, I feel like it is perfectly sized. It really does feel like it's exactly the size that it should be, and also looks really nice next to Mr. Papo T-Rex actually. For another size comparison, we have the Hammond Collection T-Rex right here, which you can see is a little bit bigger than the Rubbersaurs version, but you can also see the arms are so much nicer on Marco's version. The arms are definitely a bit longer and a bit larger than they needed to be on the Hammond Collection version. So Marco's overall, I would say, is clearly superior when it comes to the overall visual of the figure, the screen accuracy, as well as the size. And just in case you are not a Mattel collector, here is the Kenner version of the Young T-Rex next to the Marco Makes Rubbersaurs version. Again, definitely a good bit of difference in size here. And then for a comparison that I think should help most collectors, we have the Mattel Extreme Damage T-Rex, which is in the same size range as the Extreme Chompin' T-Rex, next to the Marco Makes Rubbersaurs version. And again, I don't think we need too many more comparisons past this point, but I definitely wanted a Mattel Rex compared to this Young Rex to really give you a good idea of how these size up next to each other. And I decided one more comparison wouldn't hurt. We have the Epic Roarin' T-Rex, which is like the next size range up from the Extreme Damage version next to the Young Rex from Marco, just to give you one more idea of a size. If there were any other comparisons that you might want to see, let me know in the comment section, and of course I can put them up on the community section or on my Instagram account or somewhere where you can see them there. So this brand new Marco Makes Rubbersaurs Series 2 Young T-Rex is absolutely awesome, as it usually is from Marco. I don't think I've ever acquired a figure from him that was anything but amazing. And yet again, we have another one of those collaborative team efforts here with this release like we've had for the last few, but this time with a brand new member of the Rubbersaurs family. As I said, Nate is brand new into creating Rubbersaurs with Marco, which is really nice to see him getting some help when it comes to creating them, because I'm sure, bearing the load of an entire line on just, 1 to 2 people is pretty tough. So it is nice to see some other people helping out and helping to create these figures with Marco and Sora as well. But Nate did a phenomenal job on the paint job of this. I think the tones of color look perfect. The patterning and everything looks really nice. I love the fact that he's included the pinkish tones in the lower part of the stomach and the lower part of the neck and everything. That's exactly as the T-Rex does look in the film. And overall, his paintwork is extremely precise, very nice and carefully placed. And you can really see that even when you look inside the mouth and you look at how nice the paintwork for the lower jaw is, and the teeth in the lower jaw. Like, those are such tiny teeth, but he painted them perfectly. So overall, the paintwork is absolutely stellar on this figure, and I cannot wait to see more from Nate teaming up with Marco in the future. As far as Marco's contribution, of course, he sculpted this amazing release, and the figure, as you can see, is as spot on as it gets when it comes to a Jurassic Park style T-Rex, especially, of course, the young T-Rex that it's meant to represent. It really does look perfect as far as I'm concerned. All the proportions are nicely done. Again, it has like those baby-like features to it, like you do see in the film. The arms are the correct length, unlike the Hammond Collection version. The head sculpt is so perfect looking when it comes to the overall shape and appearance. Like, it really is probably one of, if not the single best representations of this young Rex that is on the market currently from anyone. And on top of that, you also have the Rubbersaurs aspect to it, which again allows the figure to be flexible, which is really nice. And also, again, the figure features some articulation, which also works really nicely. And then you add all of that together with the fact that you've got the belt to go around the snout and the wrapping for the leg, and you've got yourself one amazing release. And Marco recently actually announced on his live stream that he might be releasing more of these figures in the future with different paint applications, like with more Kenner-inspired paint applications that he may be creating at some point. So if you get this one in your hands, I would recommend maybe trying out for the others as well in the future, and you can build yourself a nice young T-Rex army at some point. But if you are interested in grabbing this figure and adding it to your collection, as you can see from this image right here, it tells you that this figure will be available on June 9th, 2024, after the video premieres on Marco Makes YouTube channel. So obviously you can see all the information that you need to know right here for this release, something to definitely keep your eyes on and your reminder set in your phone for. And again, make sure you grab this awesome release once Marco's video goes live. So as always, make sure you grab this when it does come out. I have to give a massive thank you to Nate and Marco for allowing me the pleasure of adding it to my collection a little bit early and getting to review it for you guys. But as I said, make sure you check out Marco's video when it drops and grab your very own from his Etsy shop, and like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next review. Thanks for watching.